Well, hi, folks, and welcome into this edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm Frank Hutton, your host, and I'm so glad to be joining you this week. This week we're going under the dome again, 35 days into the legislative session, where State Representative Gene Newman and Senate Pro Temp Dean Kirby are going to tell us a little bit about what's going on, kind of update some of the bills that have been put forward, kind of what died in committee, and what you're looking forward to out of this session right now. That's a great update. You're going to want to catch that. Also, I've got Brian Chapman coming from Central Pipe, and he's going to talk about some new stuff with our water system and our meters. So you're going to want to stick around for that conversation. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back, everybody, to This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and as we go under the dome today, I am joined by my esteemed guest, Representative Gene Newman, and Senate Pro Tem Dean Kirby. Welcome, gentlemen, into the show today.
Thank you.
So glad to have y'all back.
Having us, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you. Lots has been going on at the Capitol. Y'all have been really busy people.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
I mean, y'all have had a lot going on. Obviously, there's been a lot going on, and there's no way we can cover all of that, in our show that we do today. We'll hit some highlights of that, but I know y'all have had a busy couple of weeks. Y'all had to get bills out of committee. That was a deadline that you were facing, and so how many failed? Do you know how many you got out?
That was last week.
Yep.
We had last Tuesday was a deadline to get them out of committee. That's what we call dead day. So I think out of a total of about 3,000 bills, we wound up with about 300. So
yeah, on their side and about the same on ours. We have till this Thursday actually get everything off the calendar.
Okay.
And at that point, then we'll start swapping bills. They'll
Gotcha.
take the Senate, we'll take the House bills.
I got you.
but it's always important to remember that just because it's dead, that don't mean it's dead. That definitely don't mean it's dead. Just because it's dead don't mean you won't see it.
Wait a minute,
again.
are you telling me there's varying degrees of dead, Gene?
There's a lot of varying degrees of dead at the Capitol.
It's going to be dead. Like I say, we voted on one particular issue one year, I think it's either 23 or 26 times.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it would die, and then somebody found a code section, added to it, come back,
And it would
offer
come
an
back.
amendment.
And it would come back.
Then
And
the
it would
House
come
bills
back.
come over, same deal.
So what you're telling me is 300 survived dead day, but there could be more that survive going forward.
They could be brought back to
They
life.
can be brought back to life.
I got it. Be resuscitated.
That's right.
You know what we need to talk about first? We need to talk about deer hunters.
Okay. Okay.
Let me tell you about deer hunters.
Yeah, tell
Deer
me.
hunters wanted on the Senate bill that if deer season ends on Friday, they wanted to make it on Sunday.
Okay.
They wanted to give them 2 extra days so they'll have the weekend, and we did it. So I want to let them know that, Gene, we've sent you a bill extending the deer season for 2 days when the deer season ends on Friday.
And so Department of Wildlife did that this year.
Okay.
It ended on Friday, and they extended it to Sunday this year. That was
Okay.
done, and
Okay.
the Hill section And so I guess they did that to test it and see how it went and what happened. And I guess we'll hear about it when that bill comes over from the Senate to the House. So
See how it went. Now, I think we could all agree that the deer population is large.
Equal to our population.
Right.
it's probably more than our population.
Maybe.
And it would not hurt to cull a few more out.
2 more days. Yeah.
2 more days is not going to hurt anything, and I agree. And that and the alligator population, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, we need open season.
We
on
need
that.
open season on that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, alligators have a place, deer have a place, obviously, but it's getting a little numerous.
Well, I'm also hearing the same thing about bears from a lot of people. I mean, we don't have an issue here, but up and down the river, the bears population
Bear
is exploding.
population,
Yeah.
right.
So, but I like bears. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can leave them alone. But
I mean, the good Lord above put us in charge of all the creatures on earth and to manage that properly. Yeah. And we probably need to consider, as you said, 2 more days if it ends on a Friday, but maybe consider further steps down the road of because our Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, they do a good job.
they
Yeah,
do really.
they do.
They do a
do a
good
great
job.
job.
They do. Lynn Posey's doing an excellent job over there. As
They
the
really do.
Commissioner.
And we've talked about this. Hunters have talked about this for a long time. That there needs to be some culling out, maybe of more than one species, just a little, to maintain it,
Yeah.
to keep it at a proper level.
Just so since we're on deer hunting, and so y'all know the House passed a bill that would require a electronic stamp like they did on the turkeys
Okay.
for deer. It's not something that's going to be hard to do. It's not going to be something difficult to do, but it would. I mean, every other state you have to have a stamp for the number of deer that you kill and all that. So
Right.
this would just give the Department of Wildlife the information they need on the number of deer being killed and what's going on with that.
And that would help
That would help a lot.
a lot. I know when you see pictures, all the deer cams that are out there, and you're seeing deer. A lot of these guys, me including, you see the same deer every day. You get used to seeing how many you're seeing at one feed, one feeder. So I would think there's maybe more information that needs to be gleaned from that. Maybe down the road, AI will help us with identifying how many deer we actually have in a population. It's doable. I mean, it is with AI help. It's doable. But we do need to call that. But thank you for doing that.
I'm sorry.
Very, very
sorry.
much.
Well, let's just get that out of the way first.
2
Make
extra
the deer-
days.
because we have found out that deer hunters are very serious hunters.
Yes. 2 extra days. Fantastic. Well, we're 35 days in, 55 days left of the regular session. No guarantee that you would actually end in 55 days, right?
It may end shorter.
It may end
We
shorter.
always try to end shorter.
Yeah, I think we actually last year we were going to try to do 3 weeks, and then it got to we're going to be 2 weeks. Get out 2 weeks early. Then it was 1 week. Well, we got out 3 days.
3 days.
3 days early.
Well, I thought we had to extend it.
Well, on paper we did. I think we did.
Oh boy! All right. So a couple of things that have already gone through the process a little bit that have kind of worked their way down. Just a couple of things. The Senate sent over 2 bills specifically to the House. One amending parole supervision laws, where you've kind of moved a few things around, right?
We have the bill that we have actually moves from the parole board from the Department of Corrections to the Department of Public Safety or Highway Patrol.
Right.
So they would be over over the parole board instead of the Department of Corrections. And there were a lot of complaints, and so we thought we might give this a try and see how it works. Again, I don't know how long if it's even going to survive the House.
Oh, right.
But if nothing else, we got some people's attention.
Mm-hmm. So you're really trying to make things a little bit more efficient.
That's it. And well, yeah, people. We just received a lot of complaints, not on the parole board, but on the parolees.
Sure.
So, but the parole board, as far as I know, does a very good job.
Okay.
The last couple of years, there's been some people that were released on parole that a section of the public did not like that person was released, understand why they didn't like it, but anyway, we had one in Rankin County that got released that a lot of people got upset about. So you know, it's if nothing else, they want to get to make sure that they have their attention and they understand why we understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Okay, all right. Well, you also did a little bit more on requiring inmate notification when someone escapes to law enforcement and the public.
We did.
What did we do there?
Did you guys do that also?
We did the same, Bill.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of law enforcement. If an inmate escapes, everyone was not being notified. And I think the main one that we were concerned with was MBI, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. They were not being notified, and they should be. And so we wanted to make sure that not only all the local, but statewide law enforcement was notified when the inmate escaped. And I think that's the right thing to do. And not just law enforcement, but the people themselves need to know. And so that's the purpose of that law.
Okay, so the House has one as well.
The House has one as well. I don't know. I haven't looked at their bill to see how much difference it is, but I mean ours goes to the extent that it puts fines on a facility if they don't make the notification. The Kendall Sheriff's Departments aren't real happy with that because there's really only been one instance, and I was up in North Mississippi where a Sheriff's Department had one escape, and they didn't notify the people, but at the same time, one is too many, Sure.
So we're talking about everybody from like in county jails, all the way up to the prison system.
That's
Is
correct.
that what so anyone that's arrested and charged, that's incarcerated at all, if they escape,
the public, and especially law enforcement needs to know about it. If you've got a law enforcement officer pulling over a vehicle out there, and these guys have escaped from prison, and they stole somebody's truck that had a pistol in it.
Yeah.
The law enforcement officer's walking up to a place where he can get killed very easily.
Sure.
And they need to know that they're doing that.
Right.
They need to know that somebody's escaped. They need to have that in the back of their head when they're walking up there. It's that simple. That's.
This almost sounds like a no-brainer. Why have we not done this before?
Really, a V8 moment.
I mean, this will be a moment. Like, duh. Why have we not done this before?
Well, I mean, you assume that
We thought it was being done.
Yeah, we you assume that if you go watch the movies, whenever somebody escapes from prison, they crank the siren up, so squeeze the cat's tail and
Yeah, right.
make it real loud, and all the neighbors know about it. Well, they don't do that anymore. So, but they're not doing anything in some situations they've done nothing to notify the people around them, and they've put some people in jeopardy.
That makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
And you would think here again, this would be an assumption, and I don't really like to assume, but isn't this a no-brainer? Someone gets out and you notify everybody that, hey, we're looking for Joe Blow, and he's maybe armed and dangerous, or what? I mean, is that not?
Yeah.
Why do we have to codify that and get grown adults to? I don't. Okay.
Well,
I could go on.
The jail person running the jail doesn't want people to know that he messed up, so he don't notify anybody.
Oh boy.
And they think they can go catch him real quick, and
accountability.
That's it.
It's just oh my gosh. All right. One that we've talked about in the past with hospitals and stuff. Let's talk about this House bill that y'all have on certificate of need for nursing homes. What's going on here, Gene?
Okay, so we've talked about cons before. I mean, it's antiquated law that, as far as I'm concerned, needs to be done away with. Period. But everybody, anybody who's been in a nursing home knows that for the most part, they're not nice facilities. They're not nice facilities because they don't have to be. They have no competition. You've got some that people that really care about the people that's in them, and they do their very best to try to take care of them, and the people that own them are just trying to squeeze every dollar out of it, so they're not giving them necessary things that they need to take care of those patients. So all we're saying is that they can be competition with. There's no longer a certificate of need for a nursing home. There's no reason for it. There's no reason whatsoever for having a certificate of need for nursing homes. And that would solve a lot of the issues with some of these rural hospitals that have, they were built in the 60s and, you got a 120 room hospital and you're using 10 rooms, or that could easily be turned into a nursing home, but they can't do it because they can't get the certificate of need. And I open it up, let them compete, and you'll get better service for people.
Does this survive in the Senate?
Who knows?
Senator Pro Tem, does this survive in the Senate?
Not probably in the form that they have it, but an issue with us is that we've been told that so you have the nursing homes. Well, you have the hospital, and then you have the nursing home. Of course, you got hospice also. But anyway, we have some that honestly that probably could be out of a hospital, but really don't need nursing homes. And there's an in-between there. And those folks are having a hard time getting a certificate of need. And it's where they could probably go to this place for 3 or 4 days and go home, or 5 days and go home. Well, the way that our laws were written, I think they couldn't get a certificate of need, or if they got a certificate of need even, then they weren't eligible for Medicaid or Medicare, basically. And so we're working on that. So we'll come up with a combination of the two and have a good bill for us over. I'm convinced of that.
Okay. Well, I know that's something that I've talked about in the past, not only on this show, but on others, about certificates of need and just doing away with it in some form for all across the board, because it drives, in my opinion, and it's a researched opinion, it drives the prices up.
It does.
For hospital beds and for nursing home beds, and it costs
competition's
us more
good.
money. And competition is a good thing.
It is.
And I think that's part of what's wrong with our healthcare system in
Well,
general.
those that have certificate of need, which are worth a fortune, by the way, those that have them don't want anyone else to have them.
Of course not.
And,
Right.
and they'll fight to
Hospital
say,
Association.
Yeah. Well,
Sure, it's a big lobby group.
the way it is.
And so is the
Now,
nursing homes. And
So is
I
the
think-
Insurance Association and the Nursing Home Association, and it's a big lobby group. It's all about the money.
Yeah, and of course, and protecting the people too. I mean, it is. But because a lot of things they say and a lot of things they bring to our attention, people maybe shouldn't need a certificate of need, because maybe they had a nursing home at one time and they lost their certificate of need.
Agreed. I mean, there needs to be good
But you
vetting.
can still keep the Department of Health in charge
sure.
of licensing those people, and if they had the nursing home before and they lost it, then
Now, where we
Right, licensing is one thing.
where we probably will all agree also is you can't just totally do away with certificate of need as far as equipment, especially in hospitals.
Right.
You can't do it.
I think we
That's-
talked about,
Yeah, we talked about, well, let me get an MRI while I'm waiting to get my hair cut or my
Sure.
car fixed. No, we're not
No,
going to do
that probably wouldn't go over very well.
So we do need controls over that
Right. No,
equipment.
I agree with you there. There's medical procedures and things like that need to happen in a regulated environment, not down at the
Absolutely.
7-Eleven.
With professionals.
Totally agree. We kind of talked about that with grocery tax, about doing away with grocery taxes and the stores all of a sudden selling cars. Grocery
Yeah,
stores,
you can't do
you
that.
can't do that. I mean, it would be the same thing here.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. But I think as a whole, us citizens looking at this, not only just here, but across the board, competition is a good thing.
It is. And look, we've come a long ways. Back, I mean, it would, 15, 20 years ago, people that wanted to go to a nursing home couldn't find one. And they were going to Louisiana a lot. They were going to Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, wherever, because they couldn't find a nursing home in Mississippi. So,
And not all nursing
so we've
homes
come a
are-
long
are
ways.
bad. Not all nursing homes.
Oh, no, we've got some.
there is good ones
there
out there.
are good
I mean,
ones.
Yeah.
Very good ones.
I know that there's a few. We're not going to name any, but I've had family members in a couple, and
Yes.
you do your research and you decide what looks to be the best. I mean, they're not all perfect, but
Yeah.
you
Now, look, another discussion for another day is the price of nursing homes.
correct.
Oh, my.
Well, I think healthcare in general is just out of sight.
Yeah.
just in general, it's
It
out
is.
of sight.
It is.
And I think that has to be reined in. I don't know the answer to that, obviously. And
That's
we're not
what-
going to solve it this morning, but
No, but that's why we have Trump,
right.
because he's going to solve all the problems.
Well-
Well, he can't solve all the problems, but he
No.
can help.
He can get the conversation started.
He can.
Maybe think a little bit differently or out of the
Elon
box.
can.
Elon can solve them all. Just give him a 19-year-old and some AI, and he'll take care of it.
Probably right.
I find that fun. All right, so certificate of need. That sounds like a lot of fun. Can't wait to see how that comes out. All right, something that you guys, and especially you, have been working on a lot is redistricting.
Oh, my.
I know this is a bear, and just to set this up, we've talked about this at every show. But to set this up, this is the year it has to be done. The courts have mandated that the state include 2 more minority districts. I have that right.
In the Senate.
In the Senate.
And one in the
and
House.
one in the House. And so just setting this up for everyone. So we thought maybe the Senate version was kind of put to bed a couple of weeks ago,
We
but since
thought.
then it's not, right?
It's not.
And we're running out of time.
Yes, we are. We will, yeah. Well, we're not running, well, let me say this. The reapportionment or redistricting is not a bill as such, it's a resolution. And resolutions, we don't have the cutoff date that we have on regular Senate bills or House bills. So we're not in bigger hurry as we thought we're in. Yeah, it's been a pain. Now, these guys, I think had, what do you have, 4 people running?
We have 5 now.
5? Yeah, we've got 12 right now. But we're still working on the bill. Just when we thought we had everything worked out, and just when our map expert said that yes, the court should approve that, and our attorneys said, yeah, everything looks great. Then we have some senators that are having to run that are not happy about it. Of course, who is happy when you have to run during a midterm?
Right.
So they've all got a better way. They've all got a better way than what we came up with. That took us a year to do it. They did it in 4 hours or 3 hours, and they got a better way. Well, it's not a better way, and it's something that the courts. Well, first off, we're going to have a bill or a resolution where it looks like right now there's 7 in the north and 5 in the south, being DeSoto County area and Hattiesburg area. So we're going to have 12 people running. The ones in the south are okay. Those in DeSoto County are different. They're not happy. Well, some of them are. Some of them are very happy. But no one's happy they have to run. But we don't have any control of that. So the courts that told us we were going to do it, so we're going to do it.
You want to give people maybe a
We're
history
gonna
as to
have-
how this happened? I mean, why are we here?
Oh, I'd be glad to.
Why are we here?
Well, federal law is every 10 years we have to do a census. And then we do our Senate districts and House districts based on the population. And so we had the 2020 census, so in 2022 we passed a bill, which every senator, I don't know about the House, but every senator was happy with the new district. Even though it changed and they have new areas and lost some of the areas they like, they could all live with it. Republicans and Democrats, everybody was happy. So we passed the bill thinking with our attorneys and our map experts saying, hey, there's no way the courts can turn this down. Well, actually, they questioned 5 areas, and we won 3 of the 5 in court.
Okay.
But 2 of them, DeSoto and Hattiesburg, they said we need to create new minority districts. And so that's based on the census, based on the population shift. And what's happened in this state is the Delta area, all along the river, all the Delta counties, in 10 years from 2010 to 2020 lost 65,000 people. 65,000 people moved out. Now, the state didn't lose 65,000, and those people didn't all move out of state, but what they did do is move east and north, south, and wherever, and to find better jobs, because there were no really good jobs in the Delta for those people that wanted to work. They moved, and that was 65,000. So because of the population shift, we had to do all the new maps based on the census. That's what caused the whole problem. people moving basically out of the Delta. The rest of the state's doing great. Yeah.
I know most people would think, why fix what's not broke? It seems
Yeah.
to be running fine.
Well,
This is
and of
not-
course, the federal government also says that you have a 5% variance in population, and so every district has to have in the Senate. I think the average or the perfect district's like 56,000 people, but we can vary up or down from that 5%.
Okay. Without having to do.
But when you don't have any people over there,
Right.
then you got to move. And what's happened is, honestly, a lot of those people, there used to be pockets of minorities in the Delta. It is in Jackson now. But those in the Delta now, and a lot of the people in Jackson, have moved. They've moved to Rankin County, Madison County, wherever. Same up there. They've moved to DeSoto or wherever and
say I blame them.
moved out. Well, they're looking out for their families.
Sure.
So I certainly understand. And why are they moving? Their schools are not really good schools, a lot of them. That's part of it. They can't find a good job there because there's not any jobs, and and I don't think the industries as such want to be in the Delta because there's no workforce there.
Right.
So they want to go to places where they have educated, tight workforce, such as Rankin, Madison, DeSoto, Harrison, wherever, Forest. So it's just a numbers game, and we have to do it every 10 years, whether we want to or not. They require us to do it. So
How much longer do we have before this has to be codified and done?
we have this year.
That's what I thought.
We have
It-
this. We have this session, so we've got till April the 5th.
Sixth.
6th.
If we don't do it this session, the court does it.
Yeah, the court does it for us. Now,
don't want
what the plaintiffs, NAACP, sent us a map, and where I had 12 people running, their map suggested 41 people run.
Oh my.
Of the 52, they want 41 to run. So that you see, to change it from 41 down to 12, we've come a long ways.
Sure.
So,
But they want 41 people.
and this time, whenever I do offer on the floor the new districts, I've already been told, and I know that it's a fact, that we have a senator that doesn't like his district, so he's offering a new map from DeSoto County. We have the Black Caucus, the NAACP that has a map where they like better than what I'm going to do, their suggested proposal. And then we got the Democratic Party that has a map that they're going to, so I'm going to be up there fighting those maps, telling them why ours is better. Now, ours is better at this point, and it's subject to change this week. Right. But right now, the map that we have is better for several reasons. First off, our attorneys have looked at it and approved it and said it will pass in court. We sent it to a law firm, a very large law firm in Jackson, and they've looked at it and they agree. And they've been doing this for centuries. It's the type of thing, and they agree that it's a good map. Then we sent it to 3 different map expert groups. I think one maybe in California, one in Pennsylvania, and one in New York. And they've reviewed it and said, your map will pass the courts, and they should agree to it. I think the courts are going to basically look and say, okay, you have created a new district in DeSoto County. They don't know people, and they don't care about people.
Right, they just look at paper.
Yeah, they look at counting numbers. And then they're going to look at Hattiesburg and say, you created a new district there and everything's fine. So I think we'll be.
So it's really just convincing everybody else to get on
I got to
board
convince,
and not fight it in court.
And then hope the House doesn't fight our map. We're not going to fight yours. Whatever you guys say is best for the House, the Senate's going to agree with that. We're not.
I would think we'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
So in the House then, Gene, how are they feeling about the redistricting?
So in the House, we have done our redistricting map and actually already sent it. Well, I think they held it on a motion to reconsider, so we got to redo it. We got to refight that battle. But we had the session
maps.
where everybody spoke and everybody had their say. But we have 5. It's affecting 5 different districts. and this is up around Lowndes County, Choctaw County, those counties up in that area. They had one seat that the court wanted to be increased it by a minority district, and so so what we wound up with those 5 districts is you literally have to take black votes from majority black districts to convert the other district to get it to be a minority district. They didn't like that, but all the 5 districts now are 51 to 53%
Minority.
black voting.
Okay.
That was the only way they could get it to equalize. So
We had to do the same. It's not easy creating a whole new district.
Right.
Because of the domino effect. When you do this district, you're obviously taking away from those that surround or
Sure.
were in that
I mean,
district.
right.
So it just
You have to
keeps
pull
on
from
going.
others to create a new one.
Right.
That's right.
And he talked about the problem with people moving out of the Delta and people moving out of Jackson being a problem. Here's one of the problems that we're going to have in the future, and I don't know how they're going to solve this, and that's because black professionals, black people that work for places like Nissan, black people that work for all kind of different professions that they've gone into, they're making a lot more money, and they're moving into neighborhoods that used to be historically white. So
You have blended
you have
neighborhoods.
blended neighborhoods. My,
You don't have
my
those
neighborhood is a
pockets.
blended neighborhood. I mean, we don't have these little pockets where they're. So I don't know how
It's
you
not
gonna
like
keep.
across the tracks where you got one group of minorities on one side and another group on the other side. It's not
Those
like that
days are
anymore.
gone.
It's-
Right, those
yeah,
days are gone.
and they're and when we go to do another census, who knows what it's going to look like at that point, because you've got all these high-paying jobs that's coming into the state now that will enable them to disperse further, and you're going to eliminate all those distinct districts, areas that can be a black district.
And in my opinion, that's a good thing.
Well,
think
I
it's a
would
great
think
thing.
they
It's a
would
good
think it's a
thing.
good thing, but and I think most do agree it's a good thing.
Yes.
But they still want us to have minority districts, and when there's no such thing, it's kind of hard
so
to
how
do.
do we fix that problem?
You can't fix that problem. They're going to have to. And this is the reality. It's not, for at a point it was black, white, all that. Now it's Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, we're not in Jim
And as
Crow
long as they
days.
cling to
That's
that
right.
Democrat Party, that I think this is going to be an issue. But we have a black representative from DeSoto County. His name is Rodney Hall. He is probably more conservative than I am. He's
But he can't run as a Republican.
But no,
he is a Republican.
Oh, he is.
From
He ran in
DeSoto
DeSoto
County.
County
Okay.
and is elected as a Republican.
Yeah, well,
got
see, DeSoto elected not only Rodney Hall as a state
They-
representative, but the sheriff
They
is a
elected a
Republican
Republican.
Well,
minority.
yes, he is. We know him.
Sheriff Tuggle. I mean,
Yeah.
they elected him, but you're going to see more and more blacks run
Republicans.
as Republicans, and that's going to upset the Democratic Party more. But that's just the reality of the way it is, because
Sure.
I mean, they saw this election. You saw it in this election where a large percentage of
Broke for
blacks voted for Trump, and those are, I mean, that trend will keep up.
I believe so. But I mean, the DOJ, I guess the DOJ is the one that's responsible for pushing. Is that not, or is this coming from somewhere else?
No, this lawsuit came from NAACP.
From NAACP across the board.
Yeah, this strictly NAACP.
But
do it.
this, so that's what I'm saying. How do we fix this? I mean, is this
it's-
judicial?
In time, it will fix itself, and they'll realize that those days of minority areas are gone. I mean,
Which is what
there's
they-
not going to be enough people.
Which was the goal anyway.
If you go
That's
back,
right.
if you go back and listen to Martin Luther King's speeches, that's what he wanted.
That was the
that's
goal.
what he was preaching. I
Right.
mean,
Martin Luther King would be a
and-
Republican if he were alive today.
yeah. but
Martin Luther King was a Republican. Martin Luther King was a registered Republican.
Well, there you go.
So I mean,
How about that?
Well, there you go. Well, there's that.
the objective is for everybody to have equal opportunity. That means equal opportunity to work, to get the same job, and
Right.
that's what we're trying to do. Is just make it equal, make it where it's not about you being a certain race or a certain sexual orientation or anything else
Right,
to get
that-
something
none of that
special.
ma- none of that matters.
That don't matter. What
Right.
matters is your merit. Is you know, can you do the job and can you do it better than the next person? And if you can, you ought to get that job.
Sure.
Just that simple.
Right. It doesn't matter whether you're purple
Yeah.
or brown.
It don't make any difference.
No.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the talents you've been given by our Creator.
That's right.
When I take my car to get fixed, I don't care what color or who, it can be black, white, yellow, red. I don't care. I want a good mechanic that fixes it right
That
at a
knows how to
fair
do it.
price.
Right.
If I have a heart attack, when they take me to the hospital, I don't care. I want the best.
Right.
Whoever it is, I want the best.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. My father, we talked about this off camera, but my father's having some issues right now, having to go to the VA. Well, one of his doctors is a black doctor, but he's from South Africa, and so he has that South African accent,
Yes.
but he's really smart.
Yeah.
I mean, to hear, as he talks and explains it, I'll have to ask him. I'm like, okay, you're like way over my head. Can you?
What does that mean?
Can you help me out a little bit? But he's very intelligent, and you can tell by the way that he carries himself.
Yes.
And then there's been a couple of nurses that I have met that have been from Zimbabwe and other places that are over here. They're out of school and they're learning, but they seem to be so intelligent. And I agree totally, 100%. It doesn't matter what color you are. It has nothing to do with that.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Give me the best.
Give me the best.
That's what I want.
And I have seen some good ones. Not to sidetrack us here, but I totally agree. And somehow we have to fix this because the leadership that has been in the Democratic Party over in these districts, Jackson on further north, I believe is going to continue to shrink. Because, as you said, I don't think the minorities are going back to the Democrats. They're not. They're moving Republican, and that's a good thing, obviously, because I'm one and I agree with them on that. But it's more of a conservative. Black people are conservative.
Sure.
Very conservative. Maybe more so than us white people are.
Way more than some.
Yes, they're conservative. Their families are conservative, and it doesn't make any sense. They vote against themselves. And I never have been able to understand that. And I think that trend is changing. So that brings us back to districts. How in the world do we live in that world with a district?
We can do it now, but 10 years, 5 years from now, we're going to have reapportionment again, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult. And the courts are going to have to realize that Mississippi is not the old Mississippi.
Yeah. How does that affect like Benny Thompson's group on the federal level?
We're just going to have to play it out and see.
Well, as his people move out,
I'm saying,
his supporters,
They're shrinking.
yeah.
But I mean, there's no one going in.
It's gonna, I think he's wise enough to realize that it's going to be a problem for him in the future.
Well, he's done nothing for the district. I'll just be honest. I mean, in my opinion,
Yeah.
it's Frank's opinion. He's done nothing for the district at all, which is why they're leaving.
Yeah.
Partly, just my opinion.
No jobs.
No job.
So,
So, what is the judicial? How is that going on the judicial
Judicial
side?
redistricting, they haven't brought their maps out. We have brought our maps out. We have passed it out of the House after another 3-hour session. But anyway, the main thing that people in Pearl want to know is
What's that mean about for us?
Rankin and Madison County does not change.
Okay.
So
nor does it in the Senate.
Rankin and Madison County is not going to change. At some point in the future, we're going to have to change.
But again,
So we're not splitting it right now.
Not
well,
splitting it now.
judicial's a little bit different in the sense that, of course, it's based on population as we have, but it's also based on number of court cases. And you have certain areas that have more court cases than others, which brings up another problem. And that problem is, in some counties, they count court cases if someone's charged with 4 crimes, that's 4 cases. In Rankin, we've counted if you arrest someone for 4 crimes, that's 1 person
Right.
or 1 case.
So it's not apples to apples.
Yeah, so we're trying to correct that right now and make it fair. Now, there are some people some attorneys and some judges that are very upset because of the fact that we don't want to live in over on the other side of the state, or 50 miles away or 75 miles away to go to court. You don't have any people where you live, so you're going to have to go over here. So it's a really difficult, I don't know who did it on your side, but Bryce Wiggins has worked really, really hard on it for over a year, maybe two, trying to get it so that it's fair to everyone.
Right.
Now, what's fair to everyone is you leave Rankin County alone,
Sure.
just like the others are saying.
Well, I mean-
but to be honest with you, we're heavy in cases now, don't have enough assistant DAs, and they're underpaid, and we know all that, and we're trying to correct Rankin.
So
and
it's really
Madison.
just trying to get to where we're comparing apples to apples.
That's right.
And I think, as you said, it's inevitable that this district from Madison's going to split.
Eventually, yeah, not.
It's inevitable.
Not,
We don't-
probably.
yeah.
After the next population,
It will be.
It'll
Yeah,
Because
probably.
both areas are growing so much, and of course,
right.
with growth comes crime.
And then we'll just be our own.
Just be your own.
Yeah.
Wow. Lots happening.
Lots happening.
55 more days.
Yeah. Well, not that we're counting.
Well, when you're back next week, maybe y'all have made some headway in the Senate on some grocery tax and
Yeah.
maybe.
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 Well, we
we'll
gotta-
touch
I'm
on
not
that.
sure Thursday is not deadline on revenue bills, is it?
No, it's
No,
not.
okay,
it's
okay.
not.
So maybe
So
2
we-
weeks.
But
maybe
we got to
2
get.
weeks.
We. I think we both got almost 200 bills left on the calendar. We've got to get through by Thursday
Yes.
when we leave. So
Right.
And some of those will die.
Some of those will die.
some of those need
they'll-
to still
I mean,
Some
not
of those
just
need to
down-
die. Is that right?
Well, they'll never be brought up, to
Right,
be honest.
right,
The
right.
chairman will realize that there's more to it than what he was told,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to trust
he'll
the chairman.
realize he don't have the votes to pass it. So he
And
ain't
he,
going up
and he
there and
doesn't have
face
the
it.
votes. That's right.
Before we get out of here, your thoughts on Doe's, on Elon and what's going on federal? What do you think? All that money wasted?
I think. I wish that we had 2 or 3 more of him.
Yeah.
That could really dive into some of the issues that we've got in the federal government.
Sure.
But he needs to look really hard at the military and what they're doing. I love our military. I'm grateful for them, but these thieves hang around that military.
I know, right?
I'm sorry, but there's too much money going out that door
For other countries.
for whatever it is, whatever
for
it may
all
be.
kind of craziness. Can you
All
believe some of the
gold
stuff
hammers
that's,
and
can you-
gold toilets
Can you
and all
believe
that
some of the
stuff.
stuff that's been unearthed?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The
I
other
mean, we all knew it
countries
was
that
happening,
we're sending
but
money
to
for
see
studies.
it in black and white. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we're sending way too much money. This federal government sending
yeah.
way too much money, I think, for studies in other countries. I won't even get into what it is.
I know, right?
We waste
Yeah.
way too much
I know,
money
right.
on it. But if he'll just keep going and keep bringing it out in the sunlight and he might not can fix it right this second, but if he
Right.
brings it out in the light, then it can get fixed.
Sunlight's the best disinfectant, is it not?
It is.
And fortunately, we don't have the problems in this state. We've cut back a lot of waste over the last few years, and we're continuing to do that. Some things, people think waste may have other reasons for doing. But anyway, this state is in the best financial shape it's ever been in, and that's because of the leadership that we've had the
Right.
last few years, have not wasted money and funded some crazy programs and done things like that. So I'm excited about Mississippi and the direction we're headed, and especially all these businesses now are from other states are realizing, hey, they've got it going on in Mississippi.
Good place to do business.
Which
Which was hence why I said, why fix what's not broke? This redistricting stuff.
Well,
why
I've
fix what's
said
not
Mississippi.
broke? I mean,
Since I've been in the legislature, I said Mississippi is the last of the great frontiers, and it really is. And people are finally seeing it that there's a lot of advantages doing living here, going to school here, going to church here, and doing those things. We've got a good state, and we should be proud of it. And let me tell you, when I go on these pro tem deals from pro tems all over the nation, they start talking about how they want to do certain things, and they'll say, well, what are y'all going to do? And I'll say, well, we did it 10 years ago, or we did it 15 years ago, or we did it 5 years ago. Well, why do I always hear that Mississippi is so far behind? because that's what they want to report. We are not. I'm telling you, we are not. I talk to these people, and we don't have the problems that a lot of the states have. I mean, other states have problems that we've never even dreamed of. Well, other states, especially out west and up north, they're forming new departments in their state, Department of the Homeless. We have a homeless problem, but nothing compared to these other states.
No.
So, because if somebody wants to work here, we can find you a job.
Sure.
It may not be the job you want, but you can take that job till you can find the one you want. And with businesses, as Gene said, with businesses moving into Mississippi as they are, and great things are happening right here in Rankin County as well. So, I mean, people, we're going to continue to grow.
Well,
With our mayors that we
I know,
have,
right?
with
Our
our
leadership is
supervisors, we've got good people.
yeah, in our homeless problem, we have a mental health problem.
We have a real bad mental
We
health
have a
problem.
real bad mental
We
health
do.
problem. We have a drug problem in our society,
And-
and thank goodness for the president doing something about the fentanyl and all of that coming over the
Yes.
border. That will help, but we still have a bad mental health problem that needs to be resolved, not just here. I'm talking about as a whole
Oh, yeah.
in our country,
In our nation, yeah.
And I think about all this money that we've sent over to all these other places overseas. We could have solved the homeless problem 15 times over with the amount of money that the federal government has wasted on ridiculous programs.
We totally agree.
Right. So we have a mental
And I
health
think our representatives and senators of this state in Washington, they realize that, and they're fighting for us.
The mental health thing. One of the bills that they've passed in the Senate that's coming over to the House is to get cell phones out of classrooms.
Yeah, we passed that.
One of the things that one of the things that's causing a lot of the mental health problems right now is
our cell phones with teenagers.
Cell phones. It's not just teenagers. When you walk in and see a 2 or 3 year old kid sitting there looking at a screen
Yes.
to occupy them while their parents are playing on their phones.
Right.
That's causing a lot of the mental health problems.
Agreed. Don't even get me started on that. I did not let my children. I came from the cell phone business. I was in that industry before I came here. My kids didn't have a cell phone until they were 15, 16 years old, period. It didn't happen. You're not going to get one because of these reasons. My children didn't just have screen time. There were computers around, but the internet existed when they were growing up. They didn't have one in their room. No, not going to happen. You didn't have a TV in your room. We limited screen time. If you wanted to do something entertaining, read a book.
Get outside.
You know, we had 4 boys. I'm proud to talk about this. I will talk about it. We had 4 boys. I have 4 college graduates, all with master's degrees or higher, that have contributing to society. Between my wife and I, we have 8 grandchildren. I mean, we limited screen time. And in my opinion, Frank's opinion,
Well,
not to get off on this, we need to really address the parents and not the kids.
Oh, yeah.
If the kid does the crime, in Frank's opinion, the parent
they
does
do.
the time. And that would be,
Well-
I know that may sound harsh.
No.
It may sound brutal, but if a kid is caught speeding down the road at 16 years old with the driver's license, that's great. Kid got a ticket. The parents are paying it. There's no way out of it. You're not going to stop it. If the kid does some burglary or shoplifting or whatever, that's fine. Mama and daddy going to jail because you need to be responsible for your child. That would stop it. It would end.
Well, it would, but somehow those kids still have to eat too.
They do.
Someone's got to.
I know it sounds great. There's a lot that's surface, but it really makes me aggravated that we have parents that just let their kids they just babysit them with a phone, and that's really what it is.
I think the bill that we passed on the schools dealing with cell phones is they cannot have them in the classroom. And we're leaving up to each school district, I believe that's correct, each school district to decide, their school board to decide how do they check their phones in, where do they put them, what do they do, what times can they use them, what time can they not. We're leaving that. We're just saying you cannot have them in the classroom.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of objections to that. I don't mind telling you. What if we have an emergency? that type deal. Well, the teachers supposedly have phones, and
You have an adult in the room,
yeah,
and maybe sometimes two.
yeah. And
You
what
have
if
a PA
a kid
system.
has a medical condition? Well, the teachers should be made aware of that, and they should.
What did we do before we had cell phones?
Exactly.
We can do that again.
Yeah,
I think all that's a mute argument.
yeah. So,
Right.
but anyway, there are people that oppose it, and I
Sure.
understand they may have a good reason for opposing. But overall, and also kids can't count anymore for some reason, and they have to use their cell phone, their computer, or a calculator on their phone. Well, give them a calculator, take the phone. That's the way it used to be, and it still worked pretty good. And so, yeah.
Well, I had some math teachers, one particular named Miss Burnside. If you go out to Mississippi College in the Burnside building, where the math and science is located, Miss Burnside, she was something. She wouldn't let you use anything, no calculator, nothing.
Right.
You had to show your work in longhand
sure.
on paper. Now, she was probably 75 then, so she taught old school.
But she taught.
But she taught. You had to learn it, and you had to show that you knew how to do it.
Well, you can go now to a drive-through, whatever, and buy something. If you give them cash, they go,
I know, right?
and first thing they'll do, if
Get
it's
out.
$10, they'll put it, and you give them 20, they put 20 in minus 10.
Uh-huh.
They don't
I
think,
know, I
and
know.
then here's your 10.
I-
And Lord help us if it's
Lord help us.
$10.93 or something.
Lord help
Yeah,
us. It's school choice.
And then you
Day.
give them the 93 cents. They just,
That really throws
That
them
messes
up.
them up.
I know, right? Is school choice dead this year?
no.
Oh, God.
It's not dead.
The
Yeah.
House passed the version of school choice. It's not school choice in the terms that you think about it, but it would allow, and I didn't vote for it. It's House Bill 1435, but it would allow a student that if the school accepts that student to transfer without the homeschool being able to stop them.
Right now, it has to be approved by both.
Yeah, it have to be approved by both.
No, you have
And-
school choice now, but
Obviously, move.
yeah.
That's,
That would do it.
That's an
Anyway,
easy way.
anyway,
That's
that-
an easy way to fix it right there.
The House
Move.
passed that the other day, and
And yours doesn't include private school, or does
no,
it?
it does. That's all it does. It's strictly if the it keeps the original school from keeping the student, but it's still a camel's nose under the tent. All you're doing.
Exactly.
You do that, and then you do something else, and then next year you do something else, and you just keep working it forward. We got another one on the calendar. It's called a Tim Tebow bill. It would allow homeschool students to play athletic sports at whatever school or district they live in, and I'm not for that. That's
Go to
if
school
they
there.
want to play, if they want to come to Pearl and play football, then
Go
it'd
to
be in
school-
school.
go to school
It'd be in
Pearl.
school. That's right. It'd
Right.
be in school. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, school choice. Move to Pearl. You want to play activities? Move to Pearl.
Yeah. Or if
Right.
you live in Pearl and you want to play, if you can go to Pearl School.
Go to Pearl schools.
Well, I've said all the time on the school choice in the Jackson School District alone, if they have that, then you're going to see that Provine has the basketball team, Burrow has the baseball team, somebody else has the football, baseball, basketball, track. Of course, Jackson used to do that. Believe it or not.
Of course they did.
You know what
Jim
Jackson used to
Hill
do? They had
Yeah.
Central High School, and so to get a good athlete or a good student that they wanted, it was simple. Come to our school. We're the only one that offers ROTC. So you come into ROTC and they get all their athletes and all their good students. But of course, those days are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Oh my! It just keeps getting better.
It
We could
does.
talk all day. But we all have things to do. Y'all have
A
stuff-
busy week.
Y'all have a busy week and stuff to get to. But I appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out with us this
We,
morning.
thank
we
you.
appreciate you taking time
You know,
to do this.
to
We
talk.
appreciate the city's investment in the
Oh, yeah.
station and what they do.
And it's very informative. So,
And we're doing some things for not just Rankin County, but for Pearl as well.
I know,
so
right?
That'll end up helping the cities and county.
and I think that's great. We help all of our cities.
Yeah.
I know there's one in particular that's kind of near and dear to my heart that you're helping me with. That maybe
We are trying to help you with that.
that may help a little town.
Yeah.
You know, it just may help a little town that I met last year at MML.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, we're working on it.
I know you're working on it. So we'll leave it at that. I appreciate you guys very much for joining us. Y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back, because when we come back, we've got another guest that's going to join us, and we're going to talk about your water. It's going to be really fun. So stay right there. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here, you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back, everybody, into This Week in Pearl. Fantastic conversation we just had with our two representatives, Gene Newman and State Senator Dean Kirby. Great conversation. But now we're going to turn our attention to something right here in Pearl that we've been working on, and it's our meter system, our water meters, and how they work, and the new ones that have been put in. They're really cool. They have built into them communications that allow them to talk back to the water department. And to explain how that actually works, we have a new guest who's joining me today from Central Pike, Brian Chapman. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Welcome into This Week in Pearl.
Thank you for having me.
This is just a casual conversation where we talk and inform our citizens what's going on in Pearl. Okay. And one of the big things is water, right? So we went through this process over a year of putting in all new water meters. And these new water meters are state of the art, right?
That's correct.
So explain to everyone, what is this meter and how does it work?
Sure. So what the city of Pearl elected to install were the Badger meter water meters. Badger's been around for over 100 years. One of the
That's a long time.
It is a long time. Yeah.
100 years.
Over 100, almost 120.
Do they do more than water meters?
They do. They have a pretty broad portfolio of just about anything you could think of in the water meter and water quality monitoring. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff.
They do a lot of stuff. It's not just meters.
No, not anymore.
But it's water focused?
That's right. Okay. It is all water and wastewater monitoring. Yes, sir. That's correct. So the city of Pearl has been a Badger meter customer for many years, and they have elected to install an AMI system. There was time for them to upgrade their old AMR drive-by system, and everyone agreed that AMI was the way to go. Drive-by systems have been the technology that everybody used for the last 20 years. But now, technology is moving in a way that people want more than just a monthly reading, right? They want to get that data on a daily basis, which allows their system and their billing clerks and everybody in the system to be more proactive and gives a lot of transparency back to
our society of wanting it right now.
That's right, absolutely. And, it allows the system to be more proactive. You're not having to be reactive once, you get a reading every 30 days and you have to react to that reading and the information that it tells you. But with the cellular system and the AMI system that you've installed now.
So the radio system where as you mentioned, the drive-by, we would have multiple trucks that had antennas.
Absolutely, yes.
That would ride the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
With computers in the car that would read the meter as they rode by.
That's right.
So you've replaced that with this new
Yes.
Digital system.
That's correct. You're still using the disc series meters, which is the mechanical meters that Badger's produced for many, many years. That's their workhorse meter, extremely accurate meter. It uses a positive displacement system in their chamber, so it's a very accurate meter.
How does that work?
So the Badger meter, their chamber is a nutating disc. So every water meter has a chamber, right? It measures water going in, water going out, and there are different ways of measuring that. Badger's is what they call a nutating disc. So it's imagine a quarter. If you drop it on a table and it wobbles, that's the nutating. So that's what that means, is nutating. So as water goes in, it measures a positive amount of water that goes in and goes out. So it makes it a very accurate meter. It's a very accurate way of measuring the water.
So it's a wobble of this disc inside there.
Yeah. So as that disc wobbles, there's a magnet attached to the top of the disc, and that spins the gears and all of the mechanisms in the register, which in turn, creates the reading that your customers would see if they were to walk up to the meter and actually
So it's
read.
basically wobbling for the cubic foot.
So that's correct. Yes.
So many wobbles represents a cubic foot.
That's right. That's right.
That's a lot of math to
That's
figure that out.
a lot of wobbles. That's right.
Somebody smarter than me figured that out. Okay.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah,
Didn't
absolutely.
Didn't mean to stop you. But
No,
go ahead.
no,
Explain
so-
how that works.
So your drive-by, all of that information is sent to whatever your drive-by reading equipment is, or in
That's
this.
stored there on the meter.
That's correct. So attached to that meter is what we call an endpoint, and that endpoint has transmitters and a lot of equipment inside of it that, depending on what type of system you have, whether that's drive-by or fixed base, is going to send that reading and all of that data that goes with it to somebody who's driving by in their truck, or in this case, it sends it through the cellular system back to your billing clerks and everybody who can.
How
actually
often
access
does
that.
it do that?
So every 15 minutes, that endpoint communicates to the register and says, "Give me all of your information," and it stores that information. And then every 6 hours, it transmits that data through the cellular network back to Beacon, which is their cloud platform. And then everybody in your system has access to that data. So every 6 hours, it's sending that packet of data back through the cellular system back to you. And those endpoints, that Badger has contracts with AT&T and Verizon. And depending when a system goes fixed base, we work with Badger to analyze the system and the cell coverage in that system to see which carrier would be better for that particular place. And obviously, you guys don't have any cell coverage issues.
Not here.
I think everything that you have is running through the AT&T network.
So this data packet. This is what size? I mean,
It's smaller than a text message. So if you can imagine that.
6 hours worth of data.
Smaller than a text message.
Yes.
So the cellular communication actually doesn't run through. You think of us using our cell phones, and that's what we think about when we think of cellular transmissions. But there are different organizations that came up with a machine-to-machine network. It's actually a lower frequency. So a lot of your IoT devices that are run all over the country, they run on the machine-to-machine network, and that's what your endpoints actually transmit on. So it's a very stable network. Yep.
Right, and the data is so small.
Exactly, and
That-
the machine-to-machine network's not limited by 3G, 4G, 5G.
Sure.
So as our networks, keep going up in number, they don't really care. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yep.
So you're basically not sending that data over the same network that I'm using to talk
That's
on
right.
my phone.
That's right, which helps because a lot of systems think, well, I can't get a cellular fixed base system because I don't have very good service in my area. But when you don't have good signal, a lot of times you can get a text message to go through where you can't get a phone call to go
Right.
through. So if you can imagine the data packet being about the size of a small text.
Yeah,
That's
it's
about
really
it.
small, and you can get that over really weak signal.
That's right.
Especially when you're just sending one way.
Yeah, and so
Now, you may not be able to send back, but you can at
That's
least
right.
receive.
That's right. And our endpoints are two-way. They do have two-way communication. So, if for any reason they need firmware updates or anything like that, that Beacon will actually send those updates straight to the endpoints.
So on the water meter itself, how does it power it? How does it power this data packet?
Well, the registers have a battery, a 20-year battery, and the endpoint has a battery also. It's a 20-year battery. So,
20 years.
20 years, that's right. Again, somebody way smarter than me said, I've got to have a battery this big in order to make it for 20 years. That's right. Yeah.
One battery,
One battery.
20 years.
It's a big battery.
Well, yes, but still, 20 years?
Yeah.
How is that possible? That's just what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. Technology,
Right. So what happens when that battery goes out? Do you just replace the battery, or you have to replace the meter?
So the meter itself, the mechanical part of the meter, AWWA says a system should change their meter bases out about every 10 years, just maintain a high level of accuracy. But what we found with Badger Meter is that their accuracy curve is so good that really you can get about 20 years with the meter base, the mechanical part of the meter. So
That's the gears, the disc,
the chamber.
wobbles,
That's right. The
all
brass
that.
part of.
I mean,
the meter.
that does show wear, I'm sure, over
It does.
an extended period of time.
It does.
What is it made out of?
So the chamber, the meter body is made out of brass, lead-free brass. The chamber is polymer. All of the internals are polymer. And the good thing with the positive displacement meter is that, and what a lot of people don't realize, and you'll hear complaints that says, well, my meter is not, it's old and it's over registering and I'm getting billed too much, for my water. But it's actually impossible for a positive displacement meter to over register because as parts get older, they wear and they just become less accurate.
And they slow down.
That's right. They just become less accurate. So in essence,
It's
they're
the other
underbilling.
it's
That's
the
right.
other
As
way.
meters get older, they underbill.
They underbill.
That's correct.
So the city or the utility starts to lose money
That's
on
correct.
an old meter.
That's correct. Yes.
That does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a meter, your meters are cash registers for the utilities, so it's important, to have revenue coming into the system. You need accurate water meters.
Well, obviously, the city of Pearl is not in it to generate
That's right.
revenue. They're in it to maintain the water system.
That's right.
Which that takes money
It does.
to do.
It does.
You see all of our water trucks running around and all those nice, pretty new Kubotas that they have on the back of those big fine trailers, and those cost money.
That's right. That's right.
And it costs money to maintain.
Absolutely. Maintaining infrastructure is
Right.
important,
Absolutely, and we've done a good job of that here.
Absolutely.
So all of this work, putting in these meters, now afford the citizen like me some new information, right?
That's right. That's
Tell
right.
us a little bit about what that encompasses.
So the utility is not the only one that gets access to that information. Badger has created an app, a standalone app that's designed for the end user. It's called Ion Water. Those end users have access to it on a web portal if you'd rather do that. But you can, if you have a smartphone, an Apple or an Android, you can download a free app, and it's really easy to sign up. Just need a little bit of information off your water bill, and it's going to give you access to all of the same data that the utility clerks have access to.
Right, and we actually have that, so you can go onto the Play Store or to your Apple iStore, and you can download
That's correct.
the Ion Water app. We've got, we're going to show you, we've got what one would look like, so like all your water usage in one place, right? Is that what we're looking at here?
That is correct. Yes.
And kind of explain to me what we're seeing.
Yeah, so this first screen is going to be your dashboard when you first open the app. It's going to kind of give you a little bit of information of what your system looks, what your individual home looks like. If you've got a leak, it's going to tell you that leak information at the top. It'll even give you the leak rate. And you'll be able to set your own parameters to say, by default, I think it's anything, they will notify you if you have a leak of 1 gallon an hour or more, but you can change that if you want
Okay.
to. You may not want to get an email
Right.
every gallon. So down here, this is a week-to-week comparison, just showing you how you did last week versus how you did this week.
And obviously it looks like you can change it to month, year.
That's correct,
or
yes.
all.
Yep, you can go all the way down to the daily view and the hourly view as well. So
Okay.
over here is just a little bit of a trend. They like, if you want a snapshot, the darker the dot, the more water you use
So
that
the
day.
lighter the dot, the less water.
Yes.
The darker the dot, the more water.
That's correct.
So you can look at it as a snapshot of over
Yeah.
a period of 6 months.
Absolutely.
And you can see kind of what days you're using more than other days.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
All right, so moving on here. Leak detection.
Yes. So this is obviously one of the big features for Ion Water, right? I mean, you're giving transparency to your customers and the ability to see these things, and to be able to be notified whenever you do have a leak. That's one of the huge features of the Beacon Orion cellular system as a whole for your utility. But now your customers benefit from it too. So.
That's pretty neat. And then over here, easy to contact water utility.
Yes, yes.
So I can just contact them right here.
Yes, yes, you can. The water utility can put their own contact information in Ion Water, and they have actually just released push notifications on Ion Water. So your water system, your billing clerks, whoever can actually send things like boiled water notices to your customers, which is a big reason we really encourage customers to sign up for Ion Water to get those notifications.
Because our city could send a boil water notice to a particular location, an area.
Yes, yes. So you're
right through here.
That's right. Your billing clerks can pull up Beacon, which is the software platform, and zoom into a particular area. Maybe they had a main break in one particular route, and send only a notification to that route, only those affected customers. So it doesn't have to be the entire city. They can kind of narrow it down.
Narrow it down a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty neat too.
Yeah.
So looking at this as a whole, this is just a real nice way to maintain and keep up with that ever increasing water bill.
That's right. That's you don't get surprises. I mean, you're on vacation and something happens. You have a cold snap and you break a line and
You get a notification.
you get a notification right away. You contact the your billing people at the water department and they cook out the water off.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool tool.
It really is.
All thankful. I mean, all because we put in some new meters.
That's right.
And we did
That's
the
right.
entire city.
You did. Commercial and residential.
Yeah, right. Commercial, and I think they're just now finishing up the large.
That's right.
Commercial meter, because they're a little different, are they not?
That's right. They are a little bit different, and besides Ion Water, the Beacon AMI platform is going to give the city tools, especially with the cellular endpoint, to do things like district metering, where we can actually help track water loss, which is a big thing that a lot of utilities struggle with.
And the businesses have access just like the
Absolutely. Yes.
So this would be the same for a business.
You can, yes, absolutely. And
So if the theater around the corner over there,
that's right.
they could have, the manager could have his Ion Water app, and if
Absolutely.
he has a bathroom that's all of a sudden starts running, he would be notified.
That's right.
You got a water leak somewhere.
That's right. You have tenants living in a
Multi-complex,
community,
sure.
right?
Apartments.
The landlord or the community owner can have access to Ion Water and be able to monitor all of. If it's not sub-metered, then the landlord can have access to Ion Water, monitor all of the meters in the system.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. So everyone out there, you can get the Ion Water app simply by going to the Play Store for Google or to the iTunes Store for Apple and download that app,
Absolutely.
and then take your bill
Yep.
with your account number on it.
Yes.
And then you put that in, as well as your, I think, what address and
You need your address, your email address,
Right.
a valid email address,
Valid email address.
your account number, and then your billing zip code, and then you're up and running.
then you're up and running. I know I have it.
I do too, yeah.
I have it on my phone for here in Pearl. I have it.
Yep.
It works great. Been playing with it, and now we're going to roll it out.
Yeah, great.
Officially announcing that it's there and for people to start using it. I have several friends I've sent it to and said, hey, check this out, see what you think.
Yeah.
How that's actually working. And one thing that I think this benefits us is citizens complain
Yes.
like that water's too much.
Yes.
Water costs too much.
Yes.
This is going to, I guess your assumption, this is going to go a long way to help them understand how that water usage is.
Absolutely. I
for
mean,
them.
when a customer has a complaint, it's most of it is just because they don't understand, they don't have access to that information. And in the past, the water system could send somebody out to look at their meter, on a one-on-one basis and scan that endpoint. Even the dry-by endpoints had access to that data, and so it was a useful tool. But now your billing clerks in the office have access to that. So when somebody calls with a complaint, your billing clerk can just pull that customer's information up, see those charts, and say, well, look, Beacon will actually tell you when that leak started, what the leak rate is, how long it's been going on, and they can. It's great information.
And the customer can see that for themselves.
And now the customers can see it themselves.
Without
That's
having
right.
to take anybody's word for it.
That's right.
Because I think that's usually
Yeah.
where it kind of gets lost in translation. But,
Absolutely.
people will say, well, the water department says I owe so much. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, it builds trust
Right,
between
right.
your end users and the utility. They feel like they can see this and know that they can trust the utility.
Which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
Something I appreciate y'all bringing this attention to us, and helping partner with the City of Pearl.
Yeah.
to make this work. So people don't really understand. Brian is from Central Pipe,
That's right.
and Central Pipe sells us all of these nice fine water meters.
And we're in Pearl.
And you're in Pearl.
That's right.
You're right here.
We
You're
are.
a local business. That's great.
right. Yes,
One thing we didn't get a chance to talk about though, because it wasn't a focus, but iHydrant. Y'all help us with iHydrant.
We do. We do.
And that's something we've talked about a little bit. Not going to cover it here really, but iHydrant also helps with understanding where your pressures are in your system.
That's correct.
And where your leaks are if you've got a major blowout.
That's
and it
correct.
also helps with confining those leaks into the system.
Absolutely.
Where you can shut things down, right? Is that-
Absolutely, yeah. Pressure monitoring is a huge industry at this point. There are so many different ways and tools. Even your water meters now will show pressure,
Yeah.
and you can have pressure meters in your system that can be linked back to your beacon system, so that if you have a break, those pressure drops can actually send alerts back to your billing system and to your billing clerks, and you can get people out there really
Now
quickly.
explain why that's a big deal.
Well, I mean, a main break will cost an enormous amount of water and resources to the utility,
Right.
which affects the end users. I mean, if a main break happens in your area, then chances are you're going to lose water pressure, or either partially or completely, and could potentially have a boil water notice in your area.
Right.
So, maintaining water pressure and fixing those breaks quickly is extremely
Cuts down
important.
on boil water notices.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, nobody likes to see those.
No.
The utilities don't like to issue them, and the customers don't like to see them.
No, of
so-
course not. I mean, it's
Yeah.
an inconvenience.
Absolutely.
And we live in an age now where convenience is everything.
That's right.
Right. And this is an infrastructure investment.
It is. It is absolutely. So the great thing with the Badger cellular system, traditional fixed base in the past required you to put up collectors throughout your system. So those meters would send signals and those readings and data packets to collectors, and they would gather all that and still send it back through the cellular system. But those collectors are expensive and prone to going
Failure,
out
right.
and with the cellular system, the only infrastructure is that endpoint, because it's communicating directly to the cell system. So there's really not any major infrastructure other than the meter and the transmitter. So it just makes getting a fixed base system really easy.
Expensive.
Yeah, it can be. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be, and it's not as bad as
Sure.
people may think.
Sure.
Right.
No, I mean it's all relative.
It is.
But I mean, still, the cities, the counties, the utilities have to spend the money
They do.
to upgrade
Yeah.
utilities like this, like water.
Yeah.
It does cost money.
It does, but it doesn't take long, I think, to understand the value of, of that
the
information.
return on
that's coming.
investment is
Yes.
quick.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
In so many ways, not only
Yeah.
with employees, the amount of time they have to spend with a meter, but also recouping cost on the water
Yes.
that's saved
Yes. Yeah.
because
I mean,
of pressures in the system.
that's right. Yeah. I mean, when you think of truck rolls, not many people stop
Yeah.
to think about
That
how
costs
much a
money.
truck roll costs.
Right.
AWWA said, this was several years ago. They averaged a truck roll at about $75, and that adds up really quickly. If you have a complaint, or if you have a meter that has to be turned off, or anything, that's money that's
Right, and the city works 365
Absolutely.
every single day.
Yeah.
We don't take days off,
Yeah.
including holidays.
Mhm.
City still runs.
That's right.
You get a water leak, somebody's coming.
Somebody's
Even
gonna
on
fix it.
Christmas Day,
that's right.
somebody's coming.
That's right.
And that could cost more than $75.
Absolutely.
Depending on the day.
Yes.
Right?
That's very true.
So Iowa Water, wonderful tool. You
Yes.
encourage everybody to use it. We encourage everybody to use it.
Yes.
We thank Brian for coming in from Central Pipe and explaining a little bit about how your water system works and about this new app that everybody needs to download. So go to the App Store. Go get it.
Yep. It's a free app. It's very easy to use.
The
very
ladies
easy
in the
to sign
water
up.
department will help you get it hooked up if you have issues. I'm sure they'd be glad. They're probably going to shoot me now for saying call the water department. But they will certainly help you.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
That's,
Thank you for
this
having
has
us.
been eye opening.
Thank you for having me.
We learned how a meter works. That's eye opening.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you very much, Brian,
welcome.
for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Appreciate you being a partner with the city.
Absolutely.
Very much.
We appreciate
Hey, we're going to step aside, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Pearl, some of the things that you can attend, see, go to, and play. So don't go any further. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back, folks, to This Week in Pearl. I'm Frank Hutton, your host. What a good conversation that was with Brian Chapman. Fascinating on the water meter and how that actually works, how it reads your water, and then also the ability to do the iOwnWater app. So if you don't have it or you haven't heard about it, you're hearing about it now, go to your Play Store for Google or the iTunes Store for Apple, and you can download iOwnWater, just like it sounds, EYE Own Water, iOwnWater. Download that app, get your bill with your account number on it, and sign into that app, and then you can have all of that information that Brian was just discussing at your fingertips. I have it on my phone. It's a wonderful, wonderful app. Shows you all the information about your water and kind of helps explain a little bit of your usage. So definitely do that. Check that out. And we also appreciate our representatives coming in, giving us an update today on where they are 35 days into our legislative session. Can't believe it's been 35 days. It's already been a month that they have been at our state capitol working on legislation for us this year. All right, so what else is going on in the city of Pearl? Well, our second annual Masquerade, Mardi Gras Masquerade Ball, the Moonlit Ball, is happening Saturday, February 22nd from 7 to 10 p.m. inside the City of Pearl Community Center. Southern Comfort Bass Band will be featured the entertainment once again. Tickets are $50 per person, which includes dinner, and 2 drink tickets for the bar. Tickets are available for purchase by visiting the City of Pearl website as well as Main Street Pearl's Facebook page. So check that out. It is our second annual Mardi Gras Moonlit Masquerade Ball. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Check that out. Also, just announced Pearl Day, Saturday, April 26th. It's an all-day event starting at the City Park with fun activities for the entire family. There's a lot more information coming about the activities to be going on inside the City Park, so we'll be able to release more later. But after the park, head on over to Trustmark Park for an amazing free, you heard that right, free concert. The headliner being Bret Michaels of Poison, so you're not going to want to miss him. I grew up to Poison, so you're definitely going to want to come check out Bret Michaels playing over at Trustmark Park. It is a free concert. Opening for Bret will be Warrant, and we all remember them as well. Growing up, all of us Gen Xers, we remember Warrant for certain. Concert's going to start at 5:30, and you'll be able to bring in your own chair. I think there'll be a clear bag policy as well, but parking all around the Trustmark Park area. If you've been to a Pearl Day before, you're kind of familiar with how we do that, but you definitely want to come. That is April 26th. Bret Michaels headlining for Pearl Day. It's fantastic that he's coming. Looking forward to that concert. Hey, we've had a great day today on This Week in Pearl. Lots of information that we've been able to share. Hope you all find this very informative, and that iOwnWater app for certain. So we look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Frank Hutton, your host. Y'all have a great week.